as a way of being transparent in the process. We have also produced the final registration rule to be published at the precincts, all of the precincts, just a day or two before the election day. And as you are aware, political campaigns
are they part of the materials that you've already positioned there?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, that is part of the materials that we already positioned. So yes, I can say for sure that by the grace of God, we are ready.
You are ready, and that will be on Tuesday,
October 10, 2023.
Can you tell us how things going to be like from the start of the morning to the evening hours?
Okay, I'm happy to have the director of fee coordination. Okay. She's there, but I can talk about it.
Okay.
So in the morning, you take your voter's card. Don't forget about that, and go get on the line at the precinct. You will have for those precincts, precinct meaning the place where you registered. Okay, that general area where you register, you will proceed to that area. And in that area, because we register so many people there, there will be polling places. So we will divide the people who registers start in those places by polling places. So when you go there, you will meet the precinct queue controller, who will direct you to the room or the polling place that you are assigned to. For those who have smartphone, you can use your smartphone to scan your voter's card. It should tell you exactly where you should be. Okay, so you will go there and it will show you where to be. You get on the line and then take your time. No rushing, because it's going to be a whole day affairs. And besides that, at the close of the polls by 6 o'clock in the evening, the last person on that line will have the opportunity to vote. So there should be no fighting. There should be no rush. Make sure you go with your food, if you have to, or you go with your umbrella, just in case it rains. So yes, so that's how you start in the morning, and then you proceed to your polling place, and then you are checked in the final registration roll. You have to have your voter's card. Without voter's card, you will not vote. That is key.
Okay, we'll come back to details about what will be happening on polling day, how about the entire management of the voting process. But let's come to your office, in charge of the coordination from the field. Tell us more about the deployment that you just, concluded in 14 out of the 15 counties. He said Maserado not yet deployed yet. Is there any reason for that? And when do we expect to have Maserado deployed?
Okay, thank you very much. So before I go to your question, let me just add what Mr. Cole said for the opening of the polls. We expect that the polls will be open at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then they close at 6 p.m. So I just wanted to add that.
Great.
Okay, so we have deployed 14 of the 15 counties already. That's election materials, both sensitive and non-sensitive. And sensitive of course, referred to our ballot papers and materials that we use for election. And then the non-sensitive are basic stationery items that are used. So there's no reason for which Maserado has not been deployed, except that usually what we do is that we target our faraway counties first in our deployment, especially so given our road conditions. And so that's the reason why we do our deployment in that manner. So Maserado, we are hoping within a day or two will also be deployed.
Okay, so it's easy to deploy across Maserado.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, and then, even in Maserado, what we do is we look at the rural Maserado, because we have on District 1, which is rural Monserrato, as well as District 17. So when we are deploying Monserrato materials, those are the first two districts that we consider before other districts are.
Okay, so let's look at the staff, the polling staff that you've been training. How far is the process, and when do they actually start work? And for the counties that are far away, how are they going to get there so easily, given the road conditions that you also alluded to not too long?
So usually, when the recruitment is done, we try as much as possible to recruit from the local area, such that we don't have to have a mass movement of people. But again, there are some instances where you may not have the capacity in some locations, so you have to move people, of course. But we don't expect that much. I mean, many persons to be moved.
This time
And
around.
so we try, as always, we try as much as possible to recruit from the locality. So, as Mr. Cole said, the staff has been trained already, and they're just awaiting deployment. We should begin on Sunday. And then we are hoping that by Monday, we'll close up that to be prepared for the conduct of the polls on Tuesday.
Okay, today's edition we intend to be more conversational. That's getting the callers involved, because this is the last edition before the elections. Even though you're doing after the polls, we expect to continue the program to update the people about the process. So we'll shortly open the telephone lines. Just a reminder: 0880-514-096, 0880-514-096. We want you to call us and give us, your questions and some of the concerns that you have, so the experts in studio here can answer. Now, the other issue that came up the last time we were on the show, we learned that the voter card that was issued by NEC will not be perforated, after voting.
Yeah.
So how will NEC make, a determination as to whether this person has voted or not, and when they make an attempt to vote?
Thank you very much. I will start, and then I will come in. So there is a reason why we transition. We change from the optical mark recognition system of voter registration to biometric voter registration. The optical mark recognition system was manual. Okay, and then the cards that we gave were just co-laminate plastic soft card. Okay, and the perforation of that card was used as one of the means of ensuring that people did not double vote. But there were so many other means also that we use. For example, the inking of the finger, okay, with indelible ink that does not easily move. Okay, besides that, when you have the final registration rule, like the one we have now, there is nobody that is double in that row. We are sure of that. There is no person, because it's biometric. Nobody is double in that row. So you're not going to vote now and go back to vote, because when you vote, your name is ticked. And interestingly, also, as you are aware, we are giving the FIR to the political parties, and they will be there. When people vote, they will be ticked. Their finger will be inked. And because the car is biometric, it has biometric feature. And there were a lot of thinking that went into transitioning. Today, we are not doing electronic voting, or we're not using verifier, because we are just transitioning, and we got to take it easy. And we don't have all of the resource endowment for that. But it's possible that in the near future, because those are permanent registration card, okay, and They are PVC card. They are stronger card that are expected to last between 7 to 10 years. Not just for these elections. So
Very effective.
it's expected that they'll be used over and again. In fact, the database that has been established, it will just be improved upon and added onto in the near future. So to start to build the biometric voter registration card, for all the biometric, they start to build or to cut off all the biometric features with targeting. So that's one of the key reasons why we are not going the car. But there are so many safety nets that are put in place to make sure that nobody, absolutely, nobody vote more than once. In the first place, when you vote one time here, when you go back there, you will not find your name because there's unique ID on the voter card for every voter.
Okay. We can take the calls 080-514-096, 080-514-096. Keep your calls coming in right here on the program. You can ask the questions, and of course, just call, and Madam Puzat will be here to answer the question. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, your name and where you're calling us from?
I'm Samuel Kemo calling from district number 4, Monterey County.
Come on, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to know because election is already here. And due to the downward condition in the country, I want to know if the electoral material has already reached the Liberian country.
Oh, you just gave us. I think they discussed that already. Okay. Hello? Yes? Your name, where you calling us from? Oh, my brother, you have to talk to your phone. Hello? 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 Hello?
Hello?
Yes,
Okay. I don't have it.
I'm okay. Is this Mike?
No, this is Kamu Wapper. I call you from Robin.
Okay, go ahead, Papa.
Okay, yeah, I want to know from your statement. During the registration, the voter registration process, we experience some problems. Like the payment that they have at that time. We realized that when the registration process, some of the equipment was very problem that made us to stay long in the queue for another 1 hour or 2 hours. So I want to know if they are prepared now. Because we don't want to experience such a problem again. Where people will be on the line.
Oh, I'm afraid we lost Robert there from Broville. Yeah, okay. I think your question is well understood. Let's take this call. Hello? 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 Good afternoon. Okay, go ahead. You're live on the program.
Yeah. I want to know. I want to know. They're not punching the card. How they know that I've been voting? I'm sorry, I'm confused. How will they have been voting? They're not punching the card.
I think
How will they have been voting?
we discussed it already. Hello? Yes, you're live on the program.
Yeah.
Go ahead, my brother. Hello? Go ahead. You're live on the program.
I want to look for already the result. So you need to start in the number. I don't know what else.
Okay. I'd like to give loud for the room. Please get away from your radio.
Hello?
Yes, hello.
Yeah, this is Josiah Davis, and I'm calling from Grandpa County.
Go ahead, Josiah.
Yeah, thank you for the program. I think the studio guests are funny on actually what will happen, but I don't want to make the recommendation. Yeah, the recommendation I want to make, I want the NEC to develop more police. I want more police to be at every police center, even if you have, but the two let them be full so that so they can mount other people, whoever they are voted. So immediately leave the voting center. They should not be around there. The place should not be crowded off. Because when you finish voting, some want to speak there, they want to turn around there. So the police should drive them out of the place so that they will not come back to make second attempt.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
All right. I'm sure the guest in studio taken your concerns and can respond to that. Can start with you, Mr. Cope.
Yeah, sure. So somebody asks about the problem with, I've talked about the problem with equipment. You're not going to vote using equipment. It's going to be the same way we used to vote before, is manual voting. We've said repeatedly that the biometric voter registration was used to make sure that we have a credible, clean voter roll. And that's the beginning of free, fair, and credible elections. That's what we use that for. But as for the voting at this time, it's going to be the same manual. You appear in person with your voter card. They check in the final registration roll, find your name, tick it. I mean, they check it in the full view of agents of political parties and candidates and observers. And then they issue your ballot. You go behind the screen, you vote, you put it in the box, and you leave. Okay? So, and your finger will be inked. That's one way that you will know that you have voted. And that ink, the ink we brought this time around, if you decide to remove it, I don't know which chemical in Liberia that will remove it. Probably you might want to cut your finger to remove it. So those are all safety issues. Then how will I know that I voted? I just talked about that. Of course, your space will be, or your name will be checked in the final registration roll, so that if you go back, they will know that it's checked. Secondly, you will be inked. Your finger will be inked, so that if you say you go and take it or and come back, that's another problem. And nobody should even try that, because that would be criminal if you attempt to vote more than once. Then somebody talk about misplaced card. We had a period for replacement of cards. That period passed. So if you don't have your card on hand now, then probably you will vote in another election, not this one. Sorry. Then somebody talk about more police. Well, we have a security plan in place that we believe, by the grace of God, will be able to take care of the elections. You know that election security is the responsibility of the government of Liberia. So the national security apparatus is working on that seriously.
Okay, Dede, you got some questions that you want to answer?
Yeah, well, except that just to again inform the first caller with respect to deployment of materials, that we have already deployed almost 95% of the materials across the country. And he said they experienced faulty equipment during the BV era, but Mr. Cole has already said that we're not doing any electronic voting. And so it's just good to emphasize this, that we also not going to have proxy voting. In order to vote, you must appear in person. And you must also have your voter's card, because it is that voter's card by which you are identified in the book that we refer to as the final registration roll. And I just want to give a brief description of what the roll looks like.
Great.
Even though we have shared information with political parties, but it's also important for the public to know that Mr. Cole even mentioned replacement. People who were issued replacement cards is going to be indicated in a final registration rule that they've been, their cards were replaced. So that's one of the ways in which we'll know. And then your photo is there when you come and present yourself in person. The identification officer receives your card and tries to match your face with that which is in the book. And that's why we don't encourage proxy voting, because you must present yourself in person. And the issue of beefing up security, as usual, we have two security. Usually, our processes are manned by LNP and members of other security agencies like the LIBERIA Immigration Service. The fire service also sometimes help, because the police may not have the manpower to deploy as many persons as we would want. And more besides, the police have been working closely with us. They've asked us for places that we have identified as hotspots or perceived hotspots. And they will also have patrol officers, going around just in case. They provide hotlines if there's any situation. They are called and then they quickly react or respond.
And I just want to pass one information before we forget, that there will be no telephone phone, camera phone in the voting booth. You will not carry your phone there.
Phone or camera, whatever it is, like that captures
that
any image.
Take the picture of you marking the ballot. It's absolutely prohibited.
Yeah, because
that can sometimes bring confusion, because somebody could go to the polling place and say, I came with my phone, I got to carry, and I have to carry. No, you will not be allowed to carry.
Okay, it brings me to a concern here. What about journalists who are accredited to cover the elections? I know you are not allowed to go behind
the screen.
Behind the screen.
Yes,
but you can also frame or take
just
pictures.
A general overview is acceptable. Okay. But like he said, because the secrecy of the vote at all times must be maintained.
Okay.
And so if I went to vote and I took a photo of who or whatever I have voted, and then
sharing
it means I can share it with anybody. So we try to at all times maintain the secrecy of the vote, and that's important.
All right, let's take more calls on the line right here. 0880-514-096, 0880-514-096. Let's take this caller. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, hello. You are live on the program.
Okay, I'm Daniel Chelsea. He's calling from LBC Junction.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening to your line.
Yeah, my concern has to do with the older folks who are debating and now finally joining the Sakadets and the Parakanets. What have put in place to help those older folks and we're trying to vote properly.
Okay. Thank you. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Go ahead. You're live on the program.
Okay. This is anybody don't have to do big Congo down this system of the county. Okay. Thanks to you and thanks to your studio guests. I follow the education this was starting.
My concern is, what if someone did a double voting and that person is being caught? What is the penalty he or she will be faced?
Okay. Thank you so much. Hello. Hello.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. My concern has to do with, because I just heard from the studio guest that no one is allowed to carry phone. Will there be any security like the female who have a backing that will put phone inside, even down to the male also?
Okay. We value all your concerns, so that's why they are here. They're going to answer them.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. You are live on the program.
Okay, this is Emmanuel Linda from the BIA community.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah. This is Emmanuel Linda from the BIA community. I first want to appreciate your studio guests for the hard work being done peacefully, which we know that they are in long way. Every international works to monitor and make sure that the election be free and fair. I want to appreciate them for that. Proud of the team of the election commissioner, and we wait on the team to go and elect our president. Bravo to the election team.
Thank you.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. You're live on the program.
Yes, this is the Alexander Johnson from PELENAH.
Go ahead.
Somebody didn't measure of the phone. And now today we see people on the phone with all of their photos, the photos of their candidates behind them. So what will be the registration? That's a form of carrying party, emblem to the voting place. Thank you.
Okay. It's concerned about party emblem at the polling place on election day. Maybe we can get a response from you guys. Then we continue with engagement with the callers out there. Who's that?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So there was a concern about assistance to elderly voters or physically challenged persons or persons with disabilities. So as our procedure allows that any person who needs assistance in voting is allowed to bring a trusted person, meaning the person will be your son, your daughter, your wife, whatever the case may be. But you must decide on who will render the assistance. And more besides, the person must also be a registered voter, not just any person. The person must be a registered voter because when you're providing that assistance, your details are also going to be taken. Yeah. Then the double voting penalty, we, like Mr. Cole said, to even attempt to do so is criminal in nature. But again, as far as we know, as far as our system is, we wouldn't want to even envisage that because the biometric voter registration that we had helped us to weed out people who did multiple or double registration. And so on election day, again, we have different security measures that we're going to follow. Like he mentioned, the inking of the finger, we're going to be inking the left thumb. Let me be quick to add that. The left thumb is what will be inked, and the ink is an indelible one. It's going to be placed in your cuticle, so it goes in the flesh. So there is no way you can be inked, move from there in no time to go again and say you're going to vote somewhere else. You will not be. You will be caught because the thing is, you can. All of the people who tried or attempted to register more than once are already captured. So your information is on just one page in one of the rooms that we call the polling place. And so there is no way you can leave from there to say you go somewhere else. No. If you do multiple registration, in fact, it is reason for us to even catch you on that day. Because if you do multiple registration, where you registered the very first day, because we did registration by days, and the dates are included in the system. So your first registration that you did is the only one that will be considered. And so your information will be captured just on that first registration and nowhere else. So it's just not possible to leave from that place again to say you're going for somewhere else. It's just not possible.
Okay.
Yeah. So then somebody made mention of people checking for phones that maybe carry maybe hidden phones. Let me say, and that is why we are saying this, because it's important for the public to know. You will not be allowed to carry your phone. So our staff there we have been trained already to institute that measure. We will also have securities. If we touch you with phone, you will be asked not to take the phone to the booth. If you still insist, it means that you will forfeit your vote because you will be asked all of the polling station. Yeah, that is definite. Then taking party emblem to the polling places, that is in our own regulations. You should not even carry T-shirt, let alone handkerchief or whatever it is, to show your preference for any candidate. That is unacceptable. So I think we mentioned of stickers on phones. So we have been asked, our staff, in fact, by our procedures, are supposed to remove all and any party paraphernalia that is within 100 meters of our polling places or precincts, as the case may be.
Okay, let me just ask a few questions, then we go to the telephone lines. Tell us about the management of the results. When does the counting start? How are the results transferred from the field to the magistrate office and then to headquarters?
Okay, so we do our counting or tally of the results in phases. At the polling place, you do the count, which is physical, and then we have the result sheet that we refer to as the record of the count. And at that polling place, the first two winners are issued copies of that result sheet. And we also place that result sheet on the wall for other party agents to also capture. So when that is done, and it's done simultaneously at every polling place, as long as that polling place has closed, because mind you, the polls are open from 8 to 6. But there are some places where you have more persons in queue. Some people will choose to not go to vote early. And then when it's closing time or just about closing time, you find a group of people rushing in. Of course, our procedure is that as long as they come in before 6 o'clock, they must be processed. If it's only after 6, even if it's a minute after 6, the person will not be allowed in. And that is why you have the police officers there to enforce that. We also have queue controllers who are also there to ensure that nobody joins the line after 8 o'clock. Immediately after the close of polls, the count will begin, physical count of the ballots that were cast. And that result, of course, from that place is placed up, and then copies are shared with the first two winners at that polling place. And that is done simultaneously across all of our 5,890 polling places.
And maybe someone asks, why only the first two winners when you have multiple candidates taking part in the elections?
Because we have it in 5 copies. It's the document, it's an NCR document. So the original copy
What
is what we
NCR?
place. The original copy is what we place in it comes in several copies, like 5. The original copy, which is the white, you have the pink copy, you have yellow copy, you have the green copy, and the blue copy. So it is that original copy that is placed in the temporary envelope bag that is transposed or transported to the magisterial office. So at the polling place, you have the physical count. The result thereof is placed up, and 2 copies are shared. And then the result from there is placed into that bag. When the electoral supervisors come, they collect from each of these places, and then onward it's transmitted to the magisterial area. The magisterial area is where you have the electronic tally that begins at the magisterial area. And we will encourage all parties and candidates, if I may say, because you have independent candidates, of course, to ensure that at every polling place they have a representative. We have an open process. We encourage all to watch as long as the space can, take the number of persons. And so at the magisterial office, you will also have a tally process there, which we have several staff doing different functions. At the magisterial office, you have an intake officer, meaning that when these teas are brought from all of the different precincts from within a particular county, they are collected. They're brought in by the electoral supervisors. They are collected, and then they are processed by polling place. And like we say, we have 5,890 polling places. And each county has its own specific polling places, because there are some counties that have more polling places as compared to other counties, depending on the number of precincts, of course, and the population as well. So from the counter tally, of course, the results again are keyed in electronically, and then they are transmitted to the data center. But even from the county office, the results that are keyed in are also shared. Now, here's the thing. The result from the polling place that comes in that bag is open before all. Everybody is there during the tally.
All the candidates
Which
who
all
are
present.
everybody got their copy.
observers.
With their own copies, yes.
You got your own copy. And you asked the question, why only 2 copies are given to the 2 highest winners in the center place. But everybody else will get copy because 1 copy is being pasted that you can either go and snap
it.
At that point, you can take a picture
because it's already made public.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Then when you go to the county tally center, you are there holding your copy, and then they take 1 from polling place 1 LBS. So, and you got your copy in your hand. If what they are calling, if they are keying in, is you don't agree with it, you say, no, I have my copy here. That cannot be it. Okay? So that's how you compare from one step to the other.
Great.
Yeah, so there can be no way that somebody along the way would think that you're going to alter anything.
No.
Yeah, so you have the poll watchers there throughout.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are encouraged to be there.
Great.
Yeah.
Because now all parties will have their representatives there, so it's important that you remind them to have those people there. And then what happens next from the data center to the public?
So yes, I was just trying to explain the way in which the results are transmitted from the magisterial office to the data center. It's done electronically. It's keyed in when it comes from the field, and then it is transposed through encryption so that it can be tampered with. So whatever comes from the magisterial office is what is processed at the data center at the national tally, and then of course results now are passed on to the board for announcement.
Okay, I'm sure the callers, out there must have a clear picture now as to how the process look like. Let's take a few more calls before we can wrap up here. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Yes, go ahead. I'm sure we're having some.
My name is
Okay.
I want to appreciate for one caller who said in talk of security. The LNTV. So have to let you know the second one have to do with NEC with the government, because we heard the chairman the other time that the money that they're supposed to use for this particular election are not being proper. So can you tell me, by now the government has settled with the National Election Commission? That's my question. Thank you.
Okay. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, your name, we're calling us from?
I'm then going to use Newton Wadi again. I call it from the same model account.
Go ahead, Newton.
Okay, I have a student saying that when you go to post at the end of the day, they will finger your finger. So I want to know what would be the case for those that have finger.
Those who don't have fingers.
Yeah, finger.
Okay. All right. I think to answer that question, we physically challenge people. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Your name, where are you calling us from?
So he's calling from the junction. My next question has to do with what next we have history of our elections. That individuals and other parties that can come out and start announcing early results without next and inciting people. So my question, what have you put into play to prevent those candidates or individual political parties from early the announcement of the results? We are looking at
can I ask you? Hello? Can I ask you a question? How do you think NEC can stop individuals or political parties or even radio stations from announcing results? How?
Hello?
Yes, hello?
Yeah,
how do you think NEC can do that?
No, people will come on stand, not next. I mean, how they can do that? It's just come up with the jingles in the floor of now close as we go to election. We're going to continue to say that. They want to find something to do that, but they're not very simple as someone. They want to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, when that should be created.
Yeah, that's what we are doing now.
Next to start that now.
Okay. Thank you so much. I think this program is responsible to provide popular education on the electoral process. So it's good that we are utilizing it as well. Yes, good afternoon. Go ahead, Edward. No other feature can be identified. No other feature on the voter card can be identified. Okay, maybe to answer that, let's take another caller here. Hello. Yes, I didn't know where you're calling us from.
Yeah, I'm John.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to know what become people like you saw in a county or where maybe you don't have the same kind of voters. Are you likely to propose for the president anywhere? Will you be allowed?
Okay, thank you so much for your concerns. We're going back to the studio guest now. We don't have that much time because there are other programs coming up after this one. So, can you start with that?
So let me just begin with the last two, and then Mr. Cole will take the rest of them. So to begin with, I will speak to the exceptional cases for voting. We have our staff who may be assigned, and we have a slogan that say you must vote to where you registered. So if you register somewhere else, there is no way you can vote to another place. Yeah, that's not allowed. So we have exceptional cases, and those persons will include our own staff and securities and drivers on special assignment. Because of course the country is the constituency for the presidency, so of course they can vote in place. The county is the constituency for the Senate, and then of course you have the district. So even with our own staff, as much as they have that leverage, but they will not vote for. Sorry, if say for an example, I'm assigned to district 10 for an example, and I stay in district 6 where I got registered. I can only be allowed to vote for the presidency, and then of course the senator, and of course the senator. That's exceptional for our staff and people on special duties. But for any ordinary person, no, you will vote only to where you registered. And then the announcement of results by unauthorized persons, NEC is the only authority that should announce election results and no one else. But however, and I like the way you put it to him, how can we stop that? Because it is a free country. We will not be everywhere at the same time. So of course people will do what they want to do. As much as we say it's not supposed to be so. But people even within the media institutions, they do that. And I mean, I don't see how NEC can control that.
Okay, Mr. Cole.
With respect to the money issue, the policymakers are handling that. We who are at the secretarial level, we are sure that the government will pay that money and the election will be conducted to a final conclusion. Those without fingers, those are special cases, and we got rules that will be used to handle that. Well, I know you are closing down on us, but I just want to say, before you even ask me, that we appeal to the Liberian people. So this is an institution that is well grounded, well established. The National Elections Commission is keen on the high interest in this election. We are quite aware of that As we speak, there are so many observers, both local and international, in this country, watching this process. And the stakes are high. We are aware of that. There are up to more than 9,000 observers now that have been issued observer accreditation. Okay, to watch the process. And the commission is aware of all of that. So we appeal to the Liberian people to be patient with the commission, to trust the commission. Let me not say trust, to have confidence in the commission, because only God can be trusted. Well, I say we will do everything humanly possible to ensure that these elections are free, fair, credible, and inclusive.
All right, that's the voice of Mr. Samuel Ko. He's the Deputy Executive Director for Administration. He's here along with Deda Pusa. She's the Director of Feed Coordination at the National Elections Commission. That's just about it on this edition of Elections and You, the final production before the big day on Tuesday, the 10th of October, 2023. Hopefully, after the elections, we'll be back here to provide you update on the process. Francis Pelenah is my name, saying thanks for listening.